So, our next recipe, we're going to do some Singapore noodles, very sort of Eurasian style. First thing we're going to do is thin slice our ginger, not much. Our main flavouring for our Singapore noodles is of course curry powder. So we just want to enhance that curry powder with a bit of finely chopped ginger. You could use a microplane for this. Last thing you want to do though is crush it. So finely chopped or microplaned would be great. I'm going to use 2 or 3 slices of ginger here. And look, again, this can be multiplied to feed any number of people. Yep. So a little bit of ginger. Like all Asian things, a bit of preparation and the cutting up, then the cooking is very quick. So the next thing we're going to cut up is just some choy. Now you could use any choy you like, and I'm going to cut this quite untraditionally, crosswise instead of lengthwise. Quite simply, we want this to be in our Singapore style noodles, so you can't really have great big long pieces. If you had broccoli at home, if you had cauliflower at home, if you only had zucchinis at home, this is a great dish to be able to incorporate all those different things. So, run a knife through it a couple of times, make a separate pile of it. Onion. So we really want our onion to be cut Asian style, which means quite simply like a wedge, like an orange, where you've got thick bits and thin bits. And don't worry if they don't fall apart immediately, because I've left the root material on. That will happen in the cooking process. Now, something I've done before the camera started rolling was soak these little dried shrimps in a bit of boiling water. Now I've had them soaking for a good half an hour in that boiling water, drained it off, and I'm going to run a knife through them. Now if you wanted to make this dish a vegan dish or vegetarian dish, quite simply, you don't put the shrimps in. Easy as that. But I'm just going to chop those up. Now I'm going to lift them next to my ginger because those two things are going to go in together by themselves. I have some bean sprouts, I have some shallots. So the shallots, once they've been trimmed up a bit, I'm going to cut them into sections about a centimetre long, all the way down, and using the green part as well. And they're probably going to go in the meal absolutely last. Done. That's basically all our ingredients, apart from, of course, your rice noodles, rice vermicelli, which I've just had boiling water over, and I've just drained them off once I've turned translucent. So we're ready to go. Turn our wok on. We need peanut oil, a goodly amount. I reckon it's a good couple of tablespoons. I'm going to put a drop of sesame seed oil in there. Give us a bit of flavour. Lovely. I'm also going to get ready some sriracha, some light soya, and I might even put a touch of white pepper in there. Now, I have some curry powder here. So, English curry powder, Ken's curry powder. This is looking good. Oil is hot. First thing's going in is my ginger and shrimp. Quickly followed by the onions, which we cut into orange-shaped wedges, remember? And we'll give that a little walk around. Get those flavours of those salted, dried prawns into the oil. Let those onions cook for a bit. Lovely. Meantime, just pick up a couple of these extra bits that I've left on the board. Done and dusted. Next item to go on is our curry powder. Now I like to put the curry powder around the outside of the wok so it toasts a bit on the hot metal. If you only had a fry pan at home, that would be fine too. Just push the onions to one side, put your curry powder in. Now how much curry powder you put in directly related to how hot you like your Singapore noodles. Might take a bit of experimenting. Remember, you can always add more, can't take it out. So that's really turning into a fragrant type dish now. Looking good. I'm going to put my greens in next. And remember, these greens could be any form of green. Could be broccoli, could be zucchinis. The important part is give it a bit of a chop up, get reasonable sized pieces. Now you can hear that still sizzling away there nicely. Hasn't lost any of its heat. Remember, this could be a great vegetarian dish also. Obviously you would leave out the prawns if it's a vegetarian dish, and you might add some mushrooms or something like that. Now, next to go on is my noodles. So the rice vermicelli, I've just had them soaking in a bit of boiling water until they turn translucent. And gentle once you put the noodles in. Yeah? Age-old saying, long noodle, long life. So try not to break them up too much. Get them coated to get that curry powder flavour through it. And you can see they're turning quite flavoursome, quite yellow with that curry powder. If you didn't want too much curry powder but still wanted the colour, just some turmeric in here would be good. Now that sounds really still quite nice because it's sizzling. Some soya, again, against the hot metal. That concentrates the flavour of the soya. I'm going to put a touch of white pepper in, again against the hot metal. Let it toast. And I'm going to finish off with a squeeze of sriracha. 2 circles, sriracha against the hot metal. Now's the time you let that caramelize against the hot metal. Then we can incorporate it. And then we start looking at, do I need to get a bit of moisture in there? Remember, Singapore noodles is quite a dry dish. That's looking pretty good to me. And you're going to remember, this is like a 5 minute cooking dish. Bit of chopping up, but only 5 minutes after that. Done and dusted. Oh, last thing to go in, 2 last things. My bean sprouts, but we want to keep those nice and crunchy. And our shallots straight in. You also want to keep those nice and crunchy. So just turn them over, let that residual heat warm them a bit. I've got the wok turned off. Important to give it a bit of a taste before we serve it to our guests. We'll put it on a plate indeed. So I'll just grab a bit of those noodles. Let's see. Oh, needs nothing. Fabulous. So let's tip that onto a plate. And you could do this individually. Again, good to do it Asian style. Big main centre plate. Everyone helps themselves from there. Colourful, healthy, full of fresh vegetables. 5 minute cooking time. Singapore noodles.